It is 6 o'clock, May 5th, 2026. I hereby call the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. First thing we'll do is do the pledges of allegiance. United States flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, did we have any citizens' comments or anybody wants to talk? Okay. All right. We'll move on to item number 4, administration of statement of officer and oath of office to the newly appointed officials to the Planning and Zoning Commission for place 1 and 2. 1 and 5.
You guys can come up front, you can do it right there. Right, front center.
That is yours. Council. If you'll just read along with me.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to have you both raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Lisa Gregory,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised to contribute any money or thing of value,
or promised to contribute any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office or employment
or promised any public office or employment
for the giving or withholding of a vote
for the giving or withholding of a vote
at the election at which I was elected,
at the election at which I was elected,
or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation,
or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation,
whichever the case may be, so help me God.
whichever the case may be, so help me God.
Flip to the next page for me. All right, again, I'm going to have you raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Lisa Gregory,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Planning and Zoning Commission
of the Office of Planning and Zoning Commission.
place, I'm sorry, I forgot your places.
Place 5
There you go. Of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
You guys can have your seat. Congratulations.
Welcome. We'll move on to item number 5. Presentation and discussion on proposed new single-family dwelling at 1005 College Street in the Historical Preservation District.
I thought that the property owner was going to be here to present, but hopefully I can help with this presentation. Let's see here. So they are proposing a new single-family dwelling at 1005 College Street. It's of course located in the historic preservation district. It's at close to the end of College Street there. The owners are Blake and Natalie McCullough, and you'll see the plans there for the house. They've given a pretty good detail of how they're going to cover each aspect of the design standards that's required in the historic preservation district. So I'm hoping that you're able to see how they're going to, I guess, propose the look of this structure. I was hoping that we would also get actual paint chips and examples of the roofing material that was going to be used for the house. But sorry about it. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer it.
Is it pier and beam? Is it going to be a pier and beam home?
Look at the detail. It looks like it, yes, ma'am.
So
They want to
what are they doing with the
have-
water?
I'm
The
sorry.
water that washes through that property, what are they gonna do with that water?
Well, the water actually is more on the northern portion of the property and not this side right here, or the southern portion of the property, not the northern portion. So it actually gets more of the other property than it does this property here.
But it comes.
But it does come, yes, yes.
So have they spoke to the engineers or anyone about,
Not at this time.
okay,
And so this house is similar to about the fifth house up from that, right?
It could be.
because that one is up off the ground
The
too.
fifth house.
If you count up, you got the house with the barn, and then you got the other little historic home.
The white
Ransom.
single story.
Yeah, and then there's a private, and then there's what, so I guess I counted the barn spot.
Yeah, kind of similar to the design.
This kind of sits right behind the last home that was built down back down.
The new one right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's. Actually, that would be their parents that live in the new one.
Oh, really?
This was the lot split. If you
Remember she
recall,
said
this was
something,
single.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
She told us that when she was doing the house.
Okay.
I was hoping that at least with the design standards for the historic district, she was able to answer most of the questions on how they would meet those guidelines that we have.
She did mention a couple of variance requests. Would that come back before us for
Yes.
formal?
Yes, this is simply the presentation just to get feedback from you all, see where your main concerns might be.
Mine is the water, and how
Yes,
far
the
it is,
drainage.
and the grade, yes.
And that's why they're hoping for that small access area there underneath the home. So that, yeah,
If
if they
there are
need to
any
do repairs and that kind of thing.
So if I remember right, I think with Zach was even saying that that other home that was put on there, there's really no drainage studies done on residential, correct? It's,
Correct.
okay, it's all up to,
Harris County. Right?
No, Montgomery.
Montgomery County, sorry,
Yes.
my apologies.
It's up to Harris County, did they already take us?
I was just meaning within this meeting, sorry.
so they would, that would be done through the county.
Not quite, because we don't send building permit applications to the county. It would probably support the building permit application, and that would be up to the building official when he looks at the plans.
Okay.
Especially since this lot is smaller than an acre lot. Typically an acre and over, isn't it an acre and over?
Yep.
That kind of study would occur with Montgomery County.
But we have trouble in Montgomery right now with water and backing up onto other people's property. I mean, we speak about this all the time. I mean, like almost every meeting.
Is there a way that we could ask the homeowner and the builder, like, what are your solutions? What is your remedy? Are you culverts? Are you doing make rocks move the water, go a certain way or direction or whatever? Because it is a concern.
I can get clarification for that.
That was I walked around that property way before all them other houses were there, and I was like, when I seen this. It looks nice.
So the only thing that I saw, they had the shingle on there, but they don't have any paint scheme.
Right.
Waiting on that. Okay.
We'll wait on that. You know, she was going to bring the actual sample.
Okay.
Is that little section where the water
got a little
flows, is it
picture of
in
it,
a
yeah.
flood zone?
It is not, at least not on this side of the property, where this one is going to go. It is a waterway, a tributary. There is an example of, I know it doesn't do it right for paint color, but
Right.
it's just from the copy.
Bad. You're better than me. You can.
And just like with that roof tile there, it's just from the copier, so.
It's further down.
And what I could do is have her request that she come in again, maybe next PNC and prepare something more detailed with the actual samples,
Right.
address the drainage. So
I mean,
we're going to address the drainage. I know that she said that she was going to have an engineer possibly look at this to make sure that there's no issues with that.
I mean, the style home and what she has is,
Yeah, the home looks nice.
looks
Definitely.
within that. So yeah, we just need some paint schemes and.
Just like the shutters where they're black, you'd like to see what color that is,
Right.
right? And the doors.
Because what looks like there's a oyster white for something. Okay.
And the windows, I know that she's proposing the things in the center of the window, it would be black trim.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
And if you're asking about a garage, because I did ask, that was going to come later.
What's that?
So a garage,
Okay.
at this time, it would just be the gravel driveway, which you know that in a single family dwelling would be, or a single family residential would be permitted.
And the setback is still 25 foot off the property line, or is it when it's personal?
This is where the variance request is going to come in.
Okay.
So we'll get a better site plan that will show that request.
And also to the driveway, like the width of the driveway and stuff, they'll tell us all that, won't they? Okay. They're just asking if we like it.
Yes,
Yeah.
the design, so that her architect can continue with.
So it looks like they're asking the same setbacks as parents, it seems like, the 10 foot.
I don't think the parents received a variance.
They talked about a lot of stuff when they brought this to us, when they were presenting the house. In the beginning, they did.
Oh, in the beginning, okay. This one here, I think she's going to propose a front yard variance. The rest, all the other variances would be under requirements.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't give you any more details. If you need the floor plan, let me know and I can add that to other packets. I think it was more the design elements.
What about the water and all, it's city water and it's in adherence with the fire hydrant and that's water going there and all that, right?
So I think the utilities are right there.
College.
And I know that you don't see a landscape plan, but that would be a part of that site.
Because there's a lot of trees, and what are they doing about that, you know, I was gonna ask.
So do they have a proposal, what it is they think?
Well,
they
have
may-
you seen the lot?
Yes,
You know, okay.
I walked through it.
So
I was gonna buy it one time from the previous owners.
the trees are on the side yards.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And it looks like they're going to leave some of the front yard trees, and I think that part of that, they might be ready to come down. Because I think
I
that
guess what's the unofficial landscaping plan or tree plan?
we'll make sure that that comes next.
Yeah, okay.
Anything here you'd like for me to note, or maybe a next presentation? Other than the color examples and the site plan.
I think that's the main issues. There's no action on this one.
No action. Just wanting your feedback.
So what are you gonna ask to come back with? What is the list we've given you?
I have the drainage concerns, a landscape plan to go along with the site plan, and then, of course, the color examples. If you want
Fencing.
fencing, okay. I believe that that's a question that she answered here in the,
Yeah, I was trying to
in
find
her
it.
detail. No proposed fencing at this time.
Yeah.
Number 2, page 3. Anything else you'd like for me to note?
Yeah. That's it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to number 6, which is consideration of possible action on the planning and zoning commission meeting minutes of April 7th, 2026.
I make a motion to approve the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes of April 7th, 2026 as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the April 7th, 2026 planning and zoning meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimous. Move on to the regular agenda. Consideration and possible action by the Planning and Zoning Commission on the preliminary plat for BCS Capital development number 2415.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Zachary Sims, City Engineer, working with WGA consulting firm that handles all civil engineering needs for the city. Just kind of introduce myself to those who are on the Commission. In front of y'all today is a preliminary plat for the BCS Capital development that's going on within the city of Montgomery. I'll direct you to pages 34 through 40 of your packets. On this, or within these pages, you'll see the preliminary plat with our comments that were outstanding. In front of y'all as a hard copy, you'll see the revised version submitted by the developer that addresses all of those comments. A few kind of just sticking points to discuss with y'all tonight. This development, again, is a commercial and multifamily development, approximately 38 acres located between Buffalo Springs, C.B. Stewart, and 105, just opposite of Home Depot, and on the same site as the Ransom Steakhouse. In front of y'all, again, is the preliminary plat. This is more of an administrative task for y'all. Y'all would be reviewing and approving the final plat as well, which would be recorded with the county. On this plat, you'll see a list of reserves on page 36 of your packet, outlined as unrestricted reserves. All these reserves would have to come back for y'all for approval, as they're not confirmed as to what they're going to be yet. The ones fronting 105 will be commercial. The one in the back, Reserve A, is to be multifamily. They are currently working through kind of the scoping and size of that future multifamily site, as their previous buyer backed out of the development. And again, final plat will come back to y'all for review and approval as well. To date, they have, or we're working through plans, the civil plans for the development, mass grading, the DIA, and the site civil for Texas Roadhouse, which is one of the first outline tenants of the development. This property and development would be subject to impact fees. Impact fees are essentially when a development connects to the city's infrastructure, water and sanitary sewer, there is a charge for that quote-unquote impact to the city system. That impact fee is estimated to be $437,000 between an assumed 6 commercial pads with a 2-inch meter and 1 multifamily unit with one 3-inch meter. These would be confirmed once we go through the final planning and kind of have a more fleshed out idea of what is going on within the site. And again, with our review of the civil plans for review and approval. Again, y'all will have the opportunity to review the final plat and the future reserves once they are dedicated to either multifamily or commercial for y'all's review. On this as well, there is a variance with this development. The variance is only for parking on the multifamily site. They are allowed a variance of, 1 second.
What kind of parking?
For the apartment complexes on the north side. Again, we haven't seen those plans for review as they're still going through identifying buyer for that lot. And it was parking ratio of 1.5 from 2, and a requirement that 60% of the units are required to be 1 bedroom for that multifamily development. And again, that will be coming at a later date as the plans and buyer have not been solidified yet. The developer's engineer is here if you have any specific questions about the development.
Was that, the parking, was that the same variance the previous developer asked for?
BCS, so they've only asked for that one variance.
That one, that's what I'm saying.
Correct, yeah, so it's the same one, nothing new. This was approved back in 25 along with the development agreement for BCS Capital.
So right now, the multifamily is in Reserve H?
A is on the corner of C.B. Stewart and Buffalo Springs,
right.
The largest of the reserves.
So they did revise the reserve from what's in our packet to what we have here.
Yeah.
Correct, the hard copy
They
that y'all
added 2
have.
additional H&I.
Yes, on the front of 105, correct.
Yes.
Was I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but was there a drainage pond that they had to make room for?
Yes,
Here? Okay.
so that is Reserve B. I believe that should be the same as what's in that hard copy of y'all's.
Okay.
Dedicated to open space and drainage.
Okay, I got you, okay. So that'll run on most of the distance of Buffalo Springs.
Correct, about 7 of the 38 acres.
Yeah, okay.
How many entrances?
There are, and Leslie, correct me if I'm wrong, 1 entrance on 105.
There's 2. Sorry, I'm Leslie Reel with Ellsworth Engineering. There's 2 off of 105 that are currently in review with TxDOT, and then along C.B. Stewart and Buffalo Springs. I know there is one on Buffalo Springs, I believe there's two off of C.B. Stewart.
Yeah.
Did I get that backwards?
No, that's what I remember as well.
Those don't include the multifamily entrances, but since the multifamily layout is kind of changing, those may.
So those are 2 additional along 105 in between Buffalo Springs and CB Stewart.
A total of 2, 1 additional.
1 additional.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
When did those go into TxDOT?
They've been there for a while. TxDOT reviews have taken at least 6 months, maybe longer than that. But TxDOT's new review system permits have been taking a while, so. And they're also reviewing the drainage and everything as well, so that's part of why it's taking a little bit longer.
Okay. And I know it's separate, but just while we're talking about this building, are they improving Buffalo Springs the rest of the remainder?
Yes, so from essentially where Home Depot ends up to the intersection of CB Stewart, Buffalo Springs would be improved. And then from approximately where Klepper Street is to 105, CB Stewart would be improved.
That, for Ellsworth, that's a big, I know again, this is not necessarily part of planning, but that's a big drop from 300 down to 260. Are we talking about more retaining walls in Montgomery? Okay. Pretty much throughout, or just mostly at the retainage?
I believe the last version of the mass grading set that we have a retaining wall along probably 2/3 of the frontage along 105. And then a portion of the way up Buffalo Springs, basically from the corner of 105, a little bit under where the Home Depot improvement of the Buffalo Springs pavement had stopped. We have a retaining wall there. And then there's one along the Ransom's steakhouse property as well, just to try to help with that elevation change.
Okay, will that wall be containing potential detention pond along CB Stewart? Sorry, Buffalo Springs.
No, so there's no wall in the pond on CB Stewart, Buffalo Springs, sorry, I keep getting my streets mixed up. On Buffalo Springs, there is not a wall in the pond. We kept that in permanent pond.
And that pond landscaping will be taken care of by the developer?
Yes, all private improvements.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of the preliminary plat on the preliminary for BCS Capital development number 2415.
A second.
Have a motion and a second for the recommendation for the approval of the preliminary plat for the CBS Capital development number 2415. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay. consideration and possible action by the Planning and Zoning Commission on the preliminary plat for Briarley, formerly known as
Redbird Meadows, on A2 development number 2006.
Good evening again, Commission. So I'd like to direct your attention to page 43 of y'all's packet. From 43 on to 46, you'll see our red line comments of the latest revisions of the preliminary plat for this detention pond. In front of y'all is a hard copy of the revised, clean version with all comments addressed. Again, very similar to the BCS property. This is just a preliminary plat to, again, administratively complete and show what is being proposed as far as the plan of this site. This site would not be subject to impact fees as there is no home or connection to the city system being proposed within it. This is just the reserve for their detention pond. If there are any specific questions, I can answer those.
Where does it run to?
It will outfall to, how it exists in the outfalls, essentially just south of their property, or I guess actually southeast of their property.
Into tributaries?
Yes, tributary, existing tributary.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of the preliminary plat for Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, Pond A2 development number 2006.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. We recommend approval of the preliminary plat for the Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, on A2 development number 2006. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes have it, motion passes. Item number 9. Piece of paper here. Consideration of possible action by the Planning and Zoning Commission on the preliminary plat for Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, Section 7, development number 2006.
Evening again, very similar, preliminary plat in front of y'all tonight. This one and the next item are a little different because they do include homes, single-family homes for construction. So I'll outline a couple of things just for y'all's attention. Based on the approved development agreement from 2023, the developer has the following variances from their development. Minimum lot width of 60 feet from 75 feet, a minimum lot area of 8,400 square feet from the typical 9,000 square feet, side yard setback of 5 feet from the typical 10 feet, and then pending council action on the 12th would be no tree assessments for the remaining sections of the development. Section 7, 8, which are in front of y'all tonight, and then section 9, which will be in front of y'all at a later date. Outlined here in y'all's packet again is the red line version of what we provided them, and then as a hard copy in front of y'all tonight is the cleaned up revised version of said preliminary plat, excuse me. They since addressed all comments. This plat or development, portion of the development, excuse me, would be subject to impact fees that are outlined in our supporting memo. The water for the development would be $266,904, while the wastewater would be $207,108. There is a credit for the water impact fee, as the developer did fund the construction of Old Plantersville water line loop, which essentially took water along Old Plantersville, up Old Dobbins, and connected it across the street on 105, right next to the high school athletic complex. One interesting caveat, or I guess update on this plat specifically, is Reserve B is the future water plant number 4 site. This is located on the hard corner of Old Plantersville and Old Dobbins. You'll see in your packet a smaller version, and on your hard copy a larger version. The water plant site is approximately 1.1 acres. All equipment and such. We are expecting a deed within the next couple of weeks to be submitted by the developer, will be executed by the city, to have that property formally handed over to the city for ownership.
Did you say, was that B?
Yes, B is in boy. So it's going to be on that hard corner of Old Plantersville and Old Dobbins Plantersville. And an additional reminder separate to that, the developer was also required to dedicate right-of-way along Old Plantersville Road for a shared access path along their frontage. Again, with similar with the other preliminary plats, you would have an opportunity to review the final plat as well, to make any additional comments or questions and have those answered by them as well. And quick reminder, because the variances are still pending approval or action by City Council, your action tonight would only be either denial or approval contingent upon council approval of those variance requests. If those variance requests are denied, you have to come back and have the developer submit a tree assessment for this section of development.
So, is there, what's the tree variance consist of? I mean,
So
tree?
The variance on that specifically is regarding their requirement to submit a tree assessment. And essentially that tree assessment outlines all existing trees on the property and their condition, age, type, etc. What the developer was citing at our last P&Z meeting was that their commitment to larger than normal expenditures on landscaping throughout the site. If y'all had a chance to look out and drive past the development, they are planting trees, shrubbery, landscaping, etc. throughout the development. So they're not concerned, well, not necessarily concerned. They are trying to promote and provide a product that is going to be selling homes.
And they have left some older trees.
Correct. They are
existing ones.
Exactly. So on Section 7, there aren't any existing trees, or at least ones that they're wanting to keep. Section 8, your next approval, there are existing trees that they are planning on keeping. And again, promoting additional trees being planted within or throughout the entire subdivision.
We talked about this last meeting.
Correct.
To make us aware that this was happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Just keep it in mind. Can you go over what you were telling us about Reserve B? You said it was kind of different, the only thing that you had.
So on the hard copy, or on the copy that's in y'all's packet, the Reserve B is a smaller reserve. We were going back and forth with the design engineer for water plant number 4, as well as the developer to kind of confirm the final site plan. There's additional equipment that we're wanting to propose on site, future GST, future booster pumps, to allow for some redundancy when we have to maintain that EST. So we have to expand the site site. By development agreement, they were required to provide a 2-acre site, but based on kind of what we're proposing, the 1.1 and change acre site is sufficient for all future and proposed phase 1 improvements of that plan.
When will that be finalized? What is going to be decided on that water plant? When is that decision going to be finalized?
So we're actually going through 90% drawings and specifications right now with the plan to bid that this summer. So coordinating that with city staff as well as the engineer on making sure that we have all the required documentation for TCQ and Lone Star Groundwater Conservation District approval. And once we have all of that, we'll be bidding and constructing. Construction timeline is probably going to be about a year between equipment acquisition and well drilling, excuse me.
So after summer?
Yes.
Of 2026?
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, late summer, early fall, and that should last us another full year. So by this time, or I guess a little bit, this time 2 years from now, we should be wrapping up construction.
And that water plant is helping
provide pressure or address pressure inadequacies on the west side of town. So from essentially town hall or city hall where we currently stand west all the way out to the hills of Town Creek, there's pressure issues. Providing that EST and water plant number 4 would help address pressure issues as well as provide water to the Briarley subdivision. So along with that and additional water lines that we're providing or requesting from other developers, Legacy Grove being one, they're required to extend a water line along Lone Star Parkway. The Carwell track would be required to extend that portion of the water line from their track all the way down to the Hills of Town Creek track. That provides a water line loop along Lone Star Parkway. Along 105, we are sufficient in that we have water lines on both sides of the highway, 6-inch on the south or north side and then 12-inch on the south side. But again, trying to address all the water pressure issues that we can with these developments.
And what does the city say about this? Is the city in agreement with this is going to help with that water pressure? Because
yes,
we have some other stuff that's coming down 105.
Yes, ma'am. So this has all been coordinated with city staff since I've been working with the city.
So they feel good that this is
should address and will address all issues. Yes, ma'am. A part of our review of that water plant, just to provide some clarity and transparency, we're reviewing with Hayes, the city's operator, and Public Works, Mike and his team. So they've been up to speed and updated on all ongoings with that development, as well as city staff. City staff are recently authorized back in February the sale of COs to fund not only the water plant number 4, but also phase 1 of the Town Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant, which is your plant along 149. Again, this is all to address demands that we're projecting out in the next few years.
And it's going to be good enough for the growth of, so you've projected to what year?
So our projections are upwards of 2040. Realistically, what we're able to accurately and more concretely project is approximately to about 2030 with all of our ongoing developments. This plant, as well as Town Creek Phase 1, would get us through all active developments that we're currently projecting out. That includes the remainder of Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, Legacy Grove, BCS Capital, HEB, Villages, or Caroline Court, which is the one right across the street. What are the developments? Lone Star Hills, which is going on along Lone Star Parkway, adjacent to the canal. Montgomery Crossing, which is a development.
That's only 2.5 years.
It is, and we are actively in.
I mean, I've been sitting here for 2 years and they're like a lot more events go about.
Yeah, well, we are definitely aware of all the ongoings. We're meeting with staff regularly on pre-development meetings and making sure that our timing is matching up with the timing of development and making sure that we're having these facilities put online prior to development comments. And that's one of the things that we're trying to make sure that we're not put in a situation where we're short on water or the ability to provide sanitary sewer service in the city.
And whose decision was it to go from 2 acres to 1.1 and a little more?
So that was essentially based on what we're proposing and what's required to meet that demand. We're not going to meet the full 2 acres. And between spacing requirements for the TCEQ and all other access points from the city point of view, we have sufficient space for that.
So it's about space, it's not about quantity of water?
No, not at all. Yeah, we would still have the same capacity if we had 2 or 1.1 acres.
Well, it's kind of concerning that it's 2.5 years in reality. And, you know, we're in upwards of
2040, so then, you know, then you're looking at 12 and a half, but reality is 2.5 years.
And I will say we've been going through this process they've been in design for a little bit over a year now. And so,
but it'll be completed in about 2 years, right?
Correct.
So in 2 years, it may not be enough.
We are pushing, and again, as of what we stand and what we are aware of today, that is sufficient for the developments that we're projecting out within full city limits. I definitely understand the concern. This is something that we, again, talk about daily with city staff as well as internally, making sure that we're providing enough capacity on the water and sewer side of the city. So essentially, whenever we go through a feasibility study for a development that's coming into the city, we run through the numbers, make sure within our feasibility studies that we have the adequate capacity and we're projecting that out, making sure that we're accounting for everything. And then even still, we're on the very conservative side of things. Realistically, right now, we're probably at about 45% capacity of our sewer, but we're, again, planning for the future and making sure that we can essentially triple that in the next few years.
So what our decision tonight, we'll send it to City Council?
Correct.
For their final?
Preliminary plat would get approved here tonight. Next week, City Council will take action on the variance request for the tree assessment, and then the following City Council, which would be May 24th, I believe, they'll take action on the preliminary plat. But again, we would still have the opportunity to review the final plat once it's submitted for us for review.
And that comes back to us.
Correct.
I'm to be honest, I'm really concerned about the water. Like, I don't know what I can do. If we say yes to this, and it goes to City Council, and then they go over some stuff, you know, we got to May 24th, but the bottom line is
This is all, again, to address your concern, this has all been accounted for with our projections for capacity within water plant number 4, as well as Town Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant Phase 1.
And so who at City Hall has been involved with this? City engineer, city administrator?
All staff.
Mayor, all staff, all,
and they're all aware of it.
Yes, ma'am.
And everyone has got smiles on their face, and they brought it to us.
Wouldn't say smiles. We definitely have to show some confidence. You know, we're trying to make sure that we're providing adequate plans and planning for that. So between budget season, CIP workshops, development meetings with developers, and kind of addressing and seeing, you know, if they're projecting their developments are coming online as soon as they're actually coming online. And again, we're adjusting our projections weekly.
And then this project was started in 2030.
Correct.
We know this is coming.
Yes.
This isn't something that's here tonight.
Correct, yes.
We know this is.
This one has been coming for a while. Again, related to this development, improvements to Old Plantersville, 3-party agreement with the city, county, and the developer to make improvements to Old Plantersville Road, dedication of the water plant site, and as well as the right-of-way acquisition or dedication, excuse me, for that shared access path along Old Plantersville. So again, this has been planned for since 2023, and we're now seeing kind of the fruits of that labor with a 3-party agreement, water plant site, construction, etc.
Where does, I'm just playing catch up, where does Briarley get their water from now? The city of
City, yes.
And then once the water tower is completed?
It's still all city. So as a part of the development agreement, they had to construct and extend a water line along, essentially from where their entryway is on Old Plantersville up to 105 by the athletic complex. That was to provide them with water service and create essentially a loop from where they are, I guess, right here in front of City Hall where a water line exists, all the way through Old Plantersville on the other side. And again, addressing bottlenecking and pressure issues that we're noticing on the west side of town.
I have a question. So originally it was 2 acres, and then it was reduced to 1.5?
By development agreement, it was 2 acres. That was to, again, kind of overshooting what we would believe will be required as far as spacing and everything goes. TCP requirements on spacing between ESTs, wells, and homes and structures, as well as electric utilities, dry utilities, etc. We overestimated the two acre site. Well, realistically, with all those parameters and requirements in place, 1.1 is sufficient.
So you're saying once you refine the numbers, then you determine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what about the need for future expansion?
So that was taken into account, again, with the 1.1 acres.
So even with 1.1, it allows for future expansion?
Correct.
Which probably
Yeah, so we have the ability to expand on that site as well as water plant number 3, adding in additional hydro-pneumatic pumps. We're currently going through construction. We actually have had our final inspection on the booster pump addition for that water plant site last week. And so again, all facilities are kind of, gearing up for improvements. Town Creek wastewater treatment plant being one. Booster pump addition at water plant number 3. Just last year, we had a water plant improvements project on water plant number 2 to replace the GST and add a new water well, 1,000 GPM water well. Again, understanding the concerns of the city and citizens, we're trying to make sure that projecting out in terms of what we're seeing in terms of development is being adequate, because the use has to reflect what we're doing with the plants. It wouldn't make sense if we're upsizing these plants and not seeing the use. Y'all all know that we're seeing projections and people coming in, developing the city, so we're making sure that those facilities are in place prior to that development coming on.
I don't think I have any more questions.
Good.
I make a motion to pass number 8, consideration and possible action by the Planning and Zoning Commission on the preliminary plat for Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, on A2 development number 2006.
Section 7.
Section 7. Oh, sorry, I clicked it. I didn't flip it. So sorry. Section 7, development number 2006. Thank you.
Y'all may continue on the variance request approval from City Council.
Yes.
I'll second with that contingency.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, I have a motion and second for the recommendation of the preliminary plat for the Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, Section 7, development number 2006. On contingency of the tree assessment and City Council, correct?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. 29 passes. Okay. Item number 10. Consideration of possible action for the Planning and Zoning Commission on the preliminary plat for Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, Section 8, development 2006.
Very similar to the last item y'all saw. The only difference here is the impact fees being assessed on this section with a total of $603,288 with a credit of $339,696 for the water construction of the water line that they did to serve.
Is that due at preliminary or final?
Final plat. And so what you'll notice moving forward, as we kind of rectify costs that were incurred from that water line, we will reduce that credit or remove it entirely. But once the credit has outlasted or not outlasted the construction cost for that water line. So we should see some of that realistically maybe within Section 8, but entirely within the future sections 9 and onward. And to Marion's point earlier, this is the section that has the existing tree that they're looking to keep. That's shown on page 57 of your packet. That hatched area in the bottom right corner, all existing trees that they're looking to keep to some extent. Obviously, the houses have to be put on the site, but for the most part, all those trees are going to be kept. Again, very similar to the last item, this action tonight would need to be denial or approval contingent upon city council action on variance request on May 12th.
I'll make a motion that we approve with the contingent city council approval of the tree assessment variance. The preliminary plat for Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, Section 8, development number 2006.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the recommend approval of the preliminary plat to the city council for the Briarley, formerly known as Redbird Meadows, Section 8, Development 2006, which includes the stated variances with the tree assessments. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Ayes have it. Item 10 passes.
Thank you all.
Moves on.
Thank you, Zach.
Okay. Okay, commission inquiry. Does anybody here have any discussions or issues or?
I have to, the downtown where we're putting the trees and we're moving the,
House and all that stuff. Are we into the 180 days that we spoke about that said it would take once the project started? Approximately 180 days. Look at Zach.
Back again. So yes, we started phase 3 of that development, which includes the relocation of that house and planting of that Liberty tree that you discussed. We're currently going through with our sub-consultants, the landscape architect and electrical consultants, to make sure that we have everything we need to get moving on the contract, our contract documents for that project. Plans, specifications, etc. We should be meeting, or not should, we are planning on meeting with the downtown property owners, with the MEDC coordinator, Ms. Kimberly Gonzalez, thank you, in the next few weeks to kind of discuss, potential grant monies that would be available to have certain improvements made on private sites to those facades backing McCowan Street. And again, we'll get those conversations started here in the next couple of weeks or so. But yes, the 180 days approximately has started.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Information that he answered me. Yes.
yes. I think that's it. You answered others. You answered my other question.
Awesome.
All right, anything else? Okay.
Okay, number 13?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second for adjournment of the May 5th, 2026 planning and zoning commission. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Meeting is adjourned at 6:59 p.m.
Should we just discuss?
Sure. Thank you, I appreciate it. I'll say that.
What's your question?
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about the grant issue you mentioned.
What's that?
She knew that it was for Tuesday, but she doesn't know why she was saying.
She didn't know which Tuesday.
Well, it was the 6th Tuesday, I guess.
Yes,
But yeah, she's gonna ask you.
Potential grants.
And from what source allocated to her?
So that's what, one of the things that we have to coordinate with, the MEDC coordinator and MEDC, identifying those.
They have consider problems, right? That's nice.
Be like facade grants.
Correct.
In order
Not
to utilize to move the building, is that what you're talking about?
Not for the building, this is strictly for,
businesses like yours. If you wanted to,
Across the street, I don't know if they.
well, no, it'll be all businesses.
All businesses.
If you want to do like, do the front of your building,
Yeah,
it's like a 50-50 grant. So EDC will give you 50% of the money to, even if it's like,
now they're gonna do that, shut McGowan down for a day and fix everything?
wanted to put them on 149 like where you are,
Yeah,
we could do that. Talking about concrete planters and permanent ones, and we're planning to put irrigation in them so they can be well, these will be well planned out.
okay,
Those were just kind of temporary until.
okay. Because I'm glad you mentioned that, because
What are they gonna do? So this is your email.
lot, our empty lot is adjacent to.
Has Cheatham told us what the
Communications, okay. We own that lot, at least we purchased it, yeah, we have that. So we wanted to put some trees. Edge of the lot itself before like 4 or 5, not huge, because if somebody wanted to build a whole size.
yeah.
So you were gonna do that sometime soon.
All right, so your pin
Get some money for it, or can they get money retrospectively if we did it
You could.
and then request it at a later date?
It's not gonna happen.
I mean, it's not a,
It all depends on the EDC and how they set up the grants.
yeah,
And
how it's allocated.
yes.
It's not gonna happen.